I am so done. I'm so done. I cannot wait until this transfer window's done, because at this rate, getting a striker will literally take us 30 years. Scamacca is one step away from Inter, and that's the second blow of this summer window, exactly the same as Frattesi. We just blew it away. Oh my Christ. Anyways, I hope your week is doing well. Let's all stay positive. We are gonna get a striker, 100%. Are we? But the question is obviously who it's gonna be at this stage. I'm gonna share a few minutes on this Scamacca thing, and then we're gonna speak about what next. What happens next. It happened with Frattesi, and I was like, okay, sometimes it happens, you know? Sometimes it happens. Inter got more money. Inter just played the Champions League final. We are not in the Champions League. We've got thousands of sanctions against us imposed by UEFA. It is normal for maybe one deal to be hijacked by a team which is better than us, has got more money than us, and is in a more powerful position than us. But repeating the same mistakes is like, it's like the perfect analogy to this Scamacca thing is you go fishing with a fishing rod. You place your rod and your string in the water, and at a certain point you feel like something's pulling that string down, and it's a fish, and you want that fish. But if you don't hurry up and kind of dismantle that string from the water, that fish is going to vanish away. And then when you pull the cord and the string and the rod up from the water, there is no fish. Well, that's exactly what's happened with Scamacca. Because we are not good enough at taking opportunities. The transfer window is all about opportunities. Yes, teams have more money, teams are poor, teams are rich, teams have FFP, teams don't have FFP. But the transfer window, and this is a general statement, not just in terms of football transfers, in terms of the market worldwide, if you don't take your chance and invest and spend money to get the player, it's gonna vanish away from your own hands. Because what happened here is, I think, what happened here is, we knew that West Ham was not going to open up for a loan, and we were basing us hoping they would open up on loan just on him because he wanted this move so much. And so what we wanted to happen and what we wished happened is that eventually the cord between West Ham and Scamacca broke apart. And that's when we barged in and exploited the fact that he wanted to leave to make them to kind of make them aware and open up for a loan which we wanted. That did not work, because then Inter barged in, offered money, 22 million for a permanent move. West Ham want a permanent move. They rejected the first offer. Who cares? Inter's going to make a higher bid and they're going to get Scamacca. So we, once again, time's ticking, don't have a striker. And the big question now is, who the hell do we get? Because, look, I have to be honest with you. Part of me thinks the Scamacca deal, the collapse of the Scamacca deal makes Mourinho very happy. Because now that the Scamacca deal is done, Mourinho has got all the rights and power to put pressure on Thiago Pinto to get him Morata, which is the player he's always been demanding for. However, my doubt is, if we didn't manage to get Scamacca on a loan, how the hell are we going to get Morata on a permanent? If what we are searching for is a loan move, Morata's not going to happen. Or if we want to search for a cheap permanent move, Morata's not going to happen because Atletico Madrid are not in a need to sell him. So, again, who do we get is the massive question here. Could be Morata, and if we sell Ibanez, we are definitely going to get Morata, but we got to sell that guy. And I feel like this massive delay in the transfer window is due to three things. First thing, Anthony Taylor. Second thing, Tammy's injury. Third thing, us not being able to sell Ibanez, which is mental because Brighton bought Igor, who made that terrible mistake in the Conference League final for what, 25 million, and we can't sell a player who's part of the Brazilian national team. There's something behind this which we are so bad at. So if we sell Ibanez, we're getting Morata, but we're not getting Morata if we don't sell Ibanez. And at time of speaking, Ibanez is nowhere near joining any team. So you're probably asking yourself, well then who do we get? I mean, the other names are... I've read some names this morning, and again, this could easily be the newspaper journalists going bollocks and bullshit because the Scamacca deal collapsed. But from what I'm reading, the names that have now remained, the cheap options which are now remained on the transfer window, are still Morata, which isn't cheap, but it's still an option. Patson Daka, Alexis Sanchez, Duvan Zapata, Mbalanzola. These are all players which it's great to get one of them, but by getting one of these players, we need another player. Had we gotten Scamacca, yes, or Morata, yes, we needed a second striker, but we could have done with getting a second striker towards the end of the transfer window and nobody cares about it. Because we still had Belotti and Tammy is not dead, he's going to be back. If we get one of these strikers which I just named, we are in a need to get a second striker more than we were before. So opting for these names, yes, might be cheaper than opting for Scamacca or Morata, but you gotta buy several of them. You can't just rely our season on Alexis Sanchez up front, who's 34 years old. No disrespect to him. He scored 14 goals last season with Olympique Marseille. He's a free agent. I would absolutely love him as a second striker, but definitely not as first. Because for a team which needs to fight for top four, and we're seeing Milan and Inter's great transfer window, Napoli's still a great team. We're always where we were before, fighting for fourth position against Juventus and Lazio, which is doable, but it's a massive risk. And if we don't get Champions League next season, I mean, we're going to fall into this deep well more and more and more. It's in this generation of football, if you want to have a successful transfer window, you need to be playing the Champions League, unless your name is Lazio, obviously. So again, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with Pinto because he doesn't take chances, but I'm disappointed with the Fredkins because at the end of the day, they're the ones which present the money. You know, Pinto, yes, Pinto can be blamed in terms of time and all of that, but it's the Fredkins which have to be blamed for money. And I know that we can't be spending much money, but if we want a good striker, we gotta spend money. That's the conclusion of all of these situations. Frattesi first, Scamacca second. I really am done with this transfer window. I don't want to speak about this anymore. Scamacca is probably going to join Inter. Morata's probably not going to happen. I'm very curious to see who we get as a striker, because it's one of those positions which, as of today, I genuinely would not be able to name a striker which would join us. We'll see what happens. I mean, we've decided to be in this position because we've bottled both deals, so we'll see what Pinto and the lads come up with. But obviously this Scamacca deal collapse is not good in terms of time, because we've got 2 weeks to go until the start of the Serie A, and we still do not have a striker. And again, I've said this yesterday, we don't need nothing spectacular for us to say that this transfer window has been a success. Let's say that saying that a transfer window is being successful is 100%. At time of speaking, I'm giving this transfer window a 70%, which can turn into an 80% if we get a striker, which can turn into a 90% if we get a box-to-box mid, aka Renato Sanchez, and it can turn into a 100% if we get a second striker. We're not far away from saying that this is a successful transfer window. We've started off really well, but then we've slowed down. We've got 1 month to go, which is a lot of time, and I'm still positive about this. I'm always positive. I'm always faithful. But more than ever now, we need a bloody striker. Anyways, updates are gonna come today. Maybe also on the Renato Sanchez, and also maybe if some striker names get popped up in the news in the newspapers. So we'll see what we're gonna opt for now. Scamacca, it's been a pleasure to speak about you. Is there still a chance to get you? I'm gonna give it a 5% chance. The only way we still get Scamacca is if Inter somehow pull away from the deal, but I highly doubt it. So it's been a pleasure, Gianluca. Hope to see you at the Olimpico. And yeah, 1 month to go until this torture ends. Speak to you soon. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're in this together. Roma Theory Roma Theory's brave. The Roma Theory community doesn't give up because of this. We've lost the Europa League final. We're certainly not going to cry because we didn't get Scamacca. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the link of the channel with your families and friends. Speak to you soon. See you out.